Welcome to the Garth Riley Show. Well, it's political season coming up, and we were going to be talking to as many councillors or people that are running for council. I guess they're all candidates now. The election is actually called. Everybody's looking to see if they can get the next seat and represent people in the community. Joining me today in the studio is Robert MacArthur, and he is going to be trying to get the seat in Ward 1 in Ajax. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Thank you very much, Garth.
You know, you and I have, let's make no mistake, you and I have known each other over the years, and so I don't want to make it look like we're playing favoritism, because we're not. It just so happens that, I know you're activist in politics. I don't always agree with the stuff you have to say, but at the end of the day, I also know you speak your mind. Here now, you're finally declared that you're going to run, and you're now in a flat-out run to try and get into local politics. Explain to me why local politics, why now, why you, why should people give a rip?
Well, I like local politics because I do feel it's a level that you can actually get something done. And this is actually my third time running. And the two previous times I came in second, which I think is great. What I'm doing showing is commitment. Local politics, you represent the residents, and those residents will speak, and you represent, and you do what they want.
But Rob, with only like 24 or 26% of the people voting, I mean, who's talking to you?
Well, it's a small percentage. There are people still talking, and it's also my job, and that's what I've been doing, is going out and meeting people and seeing if they're interested. And you're right, some people, no, don't want to talk, but others do. And a lot of comments I've been getting lately is, wow, nobody's come to our door and talked to us before or asked us how we felt.
So how does that make you feel? Now, I mean, is that either A, vindicated that you know you're on the right track, or B, realizing that, it's kind of a mug's game anyways?
Well, what it means is there's something missing. There's obviously a disconnection between the residents and council in some ways. My platforms have been regular meetings with people. I would like to have monthly meetings with residents to go over the issues. Blogs, internet, with communications these days, you can keep in constant contact with your residents if they so want to. Some people don't want to.
This is something that you know how to do, but you know what, I'm not trying to belittle politicians, but I've been in the media for a number of years. Sod turnings and ribbon cuttings and all that kind of stuff, and then it looks like, dysfunctionality at times. I don't know if I could do the job. So, I mean, I think that's why I'm a great interviewer, because quite frankly, I wouldn't want the job because I don't think I could put up with the bureaucracy and put up with the speed at which government works or doesn't work. But I'm looking at the town of Ajax. I mean, nothing's really gone wrong. Like, is there really things gone wrong in your opinion? We have nice bike paths.
Yes, we have nice, expensive bike paths coming, but some things have been going wrong lately. I mean, one of the things, if you want to run for council, is you have to keep on things. And there's been recently just two issues where they went way over budget. They approved a budget for one amount and then basically just rubber stamped a triple increase on issues. When I worked for the town, and that's the other advantage I do have, I worked for the town of Ajax for 7 years as their manager of computer services. When I had to make a budget request, I had to know my numbers. And if I went triple of my budget, I'd get fired. So something has changed.
Yeah, but is that a philosophy, or is this called the way government works? I mean, honestly.
Well, I don't think it's the way government should work. I mean, one of the big things they keep putting out is accountable. And your council is accountable. And the way people show disconcern with council is they elect somebody else. And particularly now, although the turnout last election was terrible, a lot of people are really getting fed up with the way things are being done.
Well, we're in a different economic time right now, and I think we're watching our dollars. But, this is kind of an extension of your community involvement. And, one thing I like to profile is people that have been out there doing it when no one was really noticing. And you've been doing it and still do it, helping on all kinds of levels. And maybe you want to share that.
Well, yes. I mean, when I first moved to Ajax from Kingston, I got right into minor sports. I had 6 children. And baseball and hockey, you coach, you officiate, you get on the executive, and as the kids get older, you don't need to coach anymore. So I went on the Recreation Advisory Committee to overlook sort of all the things in the town of Ajax as far as recreation and leisure activities. After that, I got on some boards of areas that are issues for me. Durham Youth Shelter is the only youth shelter in Durham for kids, as well as Rotary. I'm on the executive of that, and Ajax Legion. I like to help out with the community. So sitting on council is sort of a natural progression. I'm willing to put my time into it for something that is you have to spend a lot of time for not very much pay, and you're also pretty well always going to be complained to by people, but that's okay.
Well, and actually, a lot of people don't understand this, and I'll say this for every candidate, is that every 4 years you're fighting for a new job, but in the meantime, you're 4 years older. Your window opportunities can be lost because you're committed to the program.
Yes.
Which brings me back to the question, so what are you thinking? I mean, this is not exactly you're taking on a role. Well, there's two ways: you could take on a role and just be a rubber stamper, or you could take on a role and then get in there and get your get your shirt sleeves up and get going. Who are you?
Well, I'm the guy who's going to get the shirt sleeves up.
How are you going to work through bureaucracy?
Well,
this is the problem. You know what? A lot of people understand. Bureaucrats know that they can put you in a tailspin. That a department heads, I'm not trying to beat up department heads, but we just know it works that way, that someone could give you the royal runaround and you could take 2 years before you could figure out how to manipulate your way through it, and the next thing you know, you're in another election year. How are you going to be any different? Why elect somebody new who doesn't know the ropes?
Well, the interesting thing, I do know how the internal workings of the town of Ajax management works. And so I know that you go right to the department head. There is ways of getting it done, and it's actually project management, which is one of the things I do. You just don't contact a staff phone or email and say, hey, could you look at this? You sit down with them and you say, here's what I want done, and I'll be following up with you in 2 weeks. I want an answer. And if that would happen, if every counselor did that, some do, but if every counselor did that, a lot more things would be happening with there. And even if the answer is no, okay, the answer is no, but why is the answer no? Then you take that back to the resident or the residents. Give them an answer, just don't leave them hanging. It may not be the answer they want.
That's a lot of work.
It is. But if you're organized, you know how to do it, and if you know how to cut through the bureaucracy, and you know who the department heads are, I mean, at the end of the day, on council, you are one vote of 7. So, although you may feel some way, if the other 6 don't feel that way, you have a problem.
Rob, when you have a weighted council like I think we have in Ajax, I'm not beating up on it, but it seems like there isn't anybody that really, maybe 1 or 2, maybe more like 1, actually sort of throws a wrench in it all the time.
Yeah.
And then we have the newspapers that give these rating systems that I cannot understand. I mean, you'd think that they were trying to sway votes. In this case, how can you go on there and work with the existing? Let's say you get elected, but everybody else stays in place and you're in. How are you going to work with people that are basically going to gang up and you're only one person? That's
right. Well, you have to give and take. I mean, they're going to want support in projects that you feel are valuable. If it's something I don't feel is valuable, I can't support it. But if you work with them, they show I'm willing. I'm not here as an adversarial. I'm here as a colleague. Let's work together. I may not agree with everything you say, and I may have concerns, and we can address them. And at the end of the day, let's come up with something that's best for the town of Ajax.
So, the town of Ajax sits in the region of Durham.
Yes.
Sometimes the town of Ajax has been not liked by the region of Durham, I think, at times. And is that relationship important? Is a relationship with the region important versus a relationship with the citizen of Ajax? You only got about 30 seconds to answer.
I think it's very important because they control a lot of the services and they do affect the tax bills of our residents. So we have to work with the region of Durham.
Do we have to be bullied by them?
No.
What will you do if you get sort of?
Well, not I would have to deal through the regional counselors, and they're our representative, and same as dealing with the department head. Follow up and keep at them on issues.
Well, with your knowledge of social media and being out there, I imagine that'll be a bit of a game changer. Thanks for being a part of the show. That was Rob MacArthur running for Ward 1 at Council here in Ajax, and looking forward to meeting other councillors very shortly. Take good care till the next one shows up.